So in my opinion, the Guardians of the Galaxy cosmic side of the MCU is one of the most interesting parts of this universe. And now that we're diving into that even more with Ragnarok and Infinity War, the third Guardians film has a lot to live up to. Plus, Marvel's done pretty well with their trilogies so far, especially the endings of them. So today I thought I'd talk about everything I want to see in the next Guardians film. Let's get into it. So in Guardians 1, we were introduced to normal Groot, Guardians 2 we got baby Groot, and now in Infinity War we're getting adolescent Groot. And while I've enjoyed the versions we've gotten so far, and I'm curious to see more of what teen Groot is like, for the third entry, to round out this circle, let's have adult Groot again. I mean, as cute as baby Groot was, my favorite version so far is definitely the first, who, even without being tiny and super adorable, still managed to get pretty much just as many laughs. Also, while it's a fun dynamic with the team all caring for Groot like their own small child, I really miss the Rocket and Groot dynamic from the first film. And even though I know he's a new Groot with different memories or something, I'm sure they can still have a similar relationship going forward. Now this is not a requirement at all, because the Guardians work really well as their own team. But just as an option, after they've met the Avengers, I think maybe it could be cool to have one tag along. I'm thinking either Thor or Hulk, because Thor clearly works really well in space, and with weirder characters, as we saw in Ragnarok, and Hulk, because he can't have his own film, and we've already seen him on this team, so having him go on to crazier adventures elsewhere could be fun. Plus, I feel like we've already seen everything the Hulk can do on Earth, that being smash buildings, be sad, and get chased by the military. Plus, I feel like it would be kinda weird if the Guardians and the Avengers come together to stop this impossible, universe-destroying threat, and then just don't really keep in touch afterwards. I'm not saying they need to be constantly referencing and calling the Avengers, but just having some line of contact between them seems to make the most sense to me. So look, I totally understand why this was a thing in the first two films. First one, these characters are coming together, so of course they're gonna have their differences and not get along that well. Second one, the excuse I've heard a lot, is that they're a developing family, and families have fights all the time. And that is totally believable. The arguments between Peter and Rocket felt really natural, and I really liked that part. But now, with the third film, let's have them not have this same arc again. Of course, there's gonna be a bit of internal conflict. But if, once again, Rocket's like, "You're a douchebag, Peter," and then Peter starts yelling at him, and then all this happens again, that's gonna feel a bit repetitive and forced. We've seen them fight, and kind of earn each other's friendship and respect. Now it's time to see them functioning really well as both a team and a family. Now this is one that I'm not very concerned about, because with James Gunn, this is definitely gonna happen. But I'll just put it out there anyway. Again, I love this side of the MCU because it's so weird and crazy and colorful and just different. In fact, that's one of the few things I liked more about Guardians 2 than Guardians 1. This universe is massive and super weird. So, keep it that way. Don't try to have a more grounded story. Have the weirdest stuff you can think of. Last movie, the main character got celestial powers and literally fought a planet. That's awesome, and I'd love to see more of that kind of thing. Adam Warlock's gonna be in it, which could be cool. As far as who to cast, people have said Ansel Elgort. Maybe that could work. But my point is, introduce new characters that add to the craziness of this universe. Like MODOK, for example. I know he's more of an Earth-based villain originally, but I feel like he fits in much better with the Guardians than he does the Avengers. Stuff like that, to keep this fresh and still interesting by staying really creative, would be great. Okay, this is just a very small thing that doesn't need to be in the film, it's just something that I think would be cool to see. I've said this a lot of times before, but at the end of the first Captain America film, spoilers for that 6-year-old movie, I guess, I don't think the Red Skull actually dies. He picks up the Tesseract, and then it kinda melts him away and shoots off into space, or something. Look, it's vague enough where you could say, oh yeah, it teleported him into space somewhere, since that's kind of its power anyway. So I'm not even saying a large role, but if we can just see a cameo from the Red Skull somewhere, have him pop up on whatever planet the Guardians visit this time. I was thinking they might do that in Ragnarok, where maybe he gets killed really quickly against the Hulk in a gladiator match or something. But here, just having him show up again, and maybe get killed for real, I just feel like that would be a fun nod, and a way of really tying the more grounded MCU to the more cosmic side. So, that was the stuff I want to see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What do you want to see here? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, check out this podcast about movies and TV and whatnot I do every other Friday with a friend of mine, it's called the Poorly Planned Podcast, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.